With the continuing releases of new Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass tracks, we have gotten used to new, crazy, and complicated tracks being added to Mario Kart. All the city tracks with their intricate pathways and changing lap routes, and new courses like Squeaky Clean Sprint that have lots of background detail and interesting course elements. However, some of the most important Mario Kart tracks are the very first simple courses. Tracks like SNES Mario Circuit and Mario Kart Stadium are really the introduction to their respective games, and first impressions are very important when it comes to video games. These courses are meant to be easy and simple, and sometimes that's done well, but other times it's just very boring. Today, I'll be exploring this as I count down the top 8 starter tracks from every Mario Kart game. Before we get started, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel for weekly Mario Kart live streams and videos. With that, let's get started with the countdown. Figure 8 circuit is just what it sounds like, a figure 8 circuit. While many Mario Kart starter tracks have the same format, this one does it the worst. Although Mario Kart DS is my favorite Mario Kart game, they could have done a lot more with this track. It can be fun to practice snaking in the long straight sections of this track, but there are zero course hazards or anything interesting really. It's too bad that I had to rank Mario Kart DS as the worst in this video, but with a course as bad as Figure 8 Circuit, it had to be done. Super Mario Kart's Mario Circuit 1 is very iconic and was everyone's first impression to the entire Mario Kart series, so I had to give it some points for that. However, this course is still very boring and doesn't really hold up now, like a lot of Super Mario Kart. The course mainly consists of a dirt road with some small course hazards like dirt and pipes. This course was remade in Mario Kart DS, and spoiler alert, it's very boring in that game as well. There are a lot of bad Super Mario Kart tracks, and this one isn't the worst, but it's down near the bottom. GBA Peach Circuit is not particularly interesting like the previous two courses, but the layout is a bit longer and a better introduction to the rest of the game in my opinion. The course is themed around Peach, and it's cool to have a bit more of a unique starting theme. There are a lot of limitations with Super Circuit tracks, so this is about as good as I would have expected from a Super Circuit starter track. Double Dash's Luigi Circuit has always stood out to me as a unique track since I first played it as a retro track in Mario Kart DS. It's so weird that both directions can drive in the same wide road, with half loops on either end. I definitely give it points for how unique that aspect is, although it might not really prepare you for the rest of the game since it's such a different aspect. Other than that, this is a fun starter track, and it's cool that it includes a chain chomp hazard and some speed boosts. Still not particularly interesting, but it can be pretty fun. At number 4, I have another Luigi themed track, this time Mario Kart 64's Luigi Raceway. This is another iconic track, and I'm ranking it in the top half of my list because of how good an introductory track it is, as well as how much of an improvement it is from Super Mario Kart. It really shows you how much better the actual 3D graphics are, with a stadium right next to the start, a tunnel, and a virtual jumbotron showing the racers. That said, it is a bit boring compared to newer Mario Kart tracks, but for its time and game, Luigi Raceway is a great introductory course. Kicking off the top 3, I have the final Luigi-themed starter track, Mario Kart Wii's Luigi Circuit. It was hard to rank this one since I think all of the top 3 tracks on this list do a lot of great things to introduce their respective games, but I decided to put this one at number 3. It has a stadium theme like many other of these tracks, and includes some cool elements like shortcuts and speed boosts. It can make for some pretty intense races, which is cool for a starter track. It also gives you lots of opportunities to try out new things like wheelies and inside drifting. I don't think it's quite as good as the top 2, but it's still a great starter track. I thought about putting Mario Kart Stadium at number 1, but I decided that one other track edged it out, and you can probably guess which one that is at this point. Anyway, Mario Kart Stadium, being the newest Mario Kart starter track, has a bit of an advantage. It is definitely more interesting than many of these other tracks, with boosts, shortcuts, a glider section, and an anti-gravity section to introduce that new feature. Of course, it's not nearly as good as other Mario Kart 8 tracks, but that's to be expected from a starter track. When compared to only other starter tracks from the series, this one is obviously a standout, but as I mentioned, there's one that I think does it a bit better. And the number 1 starter track from the Mario Kart series is Mario Kart 7's Toad Circuit. This may be surprising to some of you, and honestly it's a bit surprising to me too, but I think this is a perfect starter track. It's definitely easy and simple, which is to be expected, but there are some elements that make it a great way to practice your skills as well. The starting section has a long turn that's good for drifting, there's a small glider section that introduces that new feature, and near the end there are a couple shortcut possibilities through the dirt. So while it's easy, the races on Toad Circuit can end up being quite fun. In addition to being in Mario Kart 7, Toad Circuit is quite prominent in Mario Kart Tour and was brought back in the 8 Deluxe DLC, so obviously Nintendo shares my opinions as well. Plus, who doesn't love some giant Toad balloons? If you've seen some of my other Mario Kart ranking videos, you'll know that many of these courses were actually ranked at the very bottom for their games, since starter tracks are usually overshadowed by better tracks later in the game. That's why it was so interesting to compare these specific tracks and talk about what makes a great starter track. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, and share your own opinions in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!